This is the Daily Tech News for Tuesday, January 7th, 2026. We tell you what
it's
you need
Wednesday.
to know. There is no time at CES. Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. We tell you what you need to know, including what day it is, give you the important context, and try to help each other understand.
Today we're live from CES 2026 in Las Vegas, Nevada, surrounded by robots and the most beautiful big giant TVs you've ever seen.
Yes, I may be Tom Merritt.
I'm Robb Dunewood.
I'm pretty sure I'm Shannon Morse.
I know that back at headquarters in Los Angeles, I'm Sarah Lane.
And I'm Remote and Roger Chang.
It is day 2 of the CES show floor being open. It is day 4 of the media coverage, and the news keeps rolling out. However, we do have a few non-CES items starting to creep back into the news. However, we will start with the big story. Was Robb right about Lenovo? Yesterday, Robb told you all about a lot of Lenovo announcements that somehow leaked onto the web ahead of time. And last night, Lenovo had its big event at the Sphere in Las Vegas, confirming all those announcements for the most part. But there were a few more things we didn't know about. So, Robb, break it down for us.
So I wasn't at the Sphere, but I had a great view from my hotel room. We were taking a look at it, but we did get most of the stuff right yesterday. What we didn't get was all the stuff from Motorola. So Motorola has extended its Moto Things lineup with a new tracker, new earbuds, a smartwatch, and a stylus. The new Moto Tag 2 offers several key improvements over the predecessor, including a significant boost in battery life to over 500 days and enhanced IP68 durability up from IP67. It utilizes Google's FineHub network and features UWB sensing for precise location. The second generation tracker maintains the useful button feature for triggering a phone beep or a remote camera shutter. While the specific launch date and price are still pending, the Moto Tag 2 is confirmed for an upcoming release in North America. We also have the Moto Buds Loop. They are the company's first open-ear wireless earbuds designed to cuff the ear, allowing users to hear their surroundings. The earbuds feature 12mm drivers, sound by Bose technology for spatial audio and clarity, dual microphones with AI for noise reduction, and are available in trekking green or French oak with crystals from Swarovski. They offer 8 hours of battery life with an extra 37 hours of battery from the charging case, and are water repellent and use Motorola Smart Connect for easy device swapping. Pricing and release date are currently unannounced. So we've got a new Moto watch. This is a 47mm smartwatch with stainless steel crown, aluminum frame, Gorilla Glass 3, IP68 resistance, featuring a standard Pantone volcanic ash silicone band and supporting other 22mm bands. In partnership with Polar, it offers comprehensive fitness tracking, including activity goals, calorie logging, sleep monitoring, and dual frequency GPS, and boasts a built-in speaker and microphone. The watch has long battery life, up to 13 days, normally, or 7 days with always on display, and offers extensive customization. And then Motorola built a pen. It's called the Moto Pen Ultra. It comes with a charging case and supports things like palm rejection, tilt sensitivity for more accurate strokes. The Moto Pen Ultra also can be used with Google's Circle to search, and new AI-powered software features like Sketch to Image, which converts handwritten sketches into detailed images.
Ooh, that's a crowd pleaser, bringing back a pen.
Samsung got rid of their pen support on the on the new Fold, so this is kind of a cool thing. Now on to the phones. Motorola released a few new phones. They're entering the book style foldable market with the Razr Fold, which is anticipated for a summer launch. The device features a 6.6-inch external and an 8.1-inch internal display, 2K OLED displays. Supports the Moto Pen Ultra, which we just talked about. It has a triple cameras, 15-megapixel camera system, including Sony Lydia primary sensors. It will also incorporate a new AI software feature, and such as the cross-device Kira experience powered by Microsoft and Perplexity technology. Pricing and specific details remain unconfirmed, and Motorola is getting back into the signature phone, just not necessarily here in the United States. Motorola has announced the Motorola Signature, an ultra-premium non-folding smartphone designed to compete with the iPhone 17 Pro Max and the Pixel 10 Pro XL. The device is notably thin, only 0.28 inches thick, and durable, featuring IP68, IP69, and MILST 810H certifications. Key specifications include a 6.8-inch 165Hz AMOLED display with 6200 nit peak brightness, a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 processor, up to 16 gigs RAM, and a 5200 milliamp battery with 90 watts wired fast charging. Once again, this is not coming here to the United States, and probably because this is a premium phone, but it's not a premium phone. This is only using the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 processor. That's a very, very capable processor. It is at the top of the list. It's just not at the tippy top of the list.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and this is right now just slated for for Europe and other places that are not the U.S. There were a few concepts that got announced. Lenovo introduced AI glasses concepts, a lightweight 45-gram smart glasses design with an 8-hour battery life. Glasses which also look like standard eyeglasses and wirelessly connect to the smart device, aiming to unify the user's workflow using Lenovo and Motorola's Cura AI platform. The platform enables features like sub-millisecond live translation, intelligent image recognition, and a catch-me-up notification recap. The hardware also supports touch and voice controls, includes teleprompter software, and features integrated speakers. And finally, Motorola also unveiled a new wearable concept. The Maxwell is a cool AI-powered wearable device that you can rock as a pendant or wear it, just with a magnet on your shirt.
A pin or a brooch.
Yeah, so you got both. This we kind of saw these things last year. They didn't do well, but hey, let's see if it comes back around this year and it works. It's got a mic and a camera for taking input for a few different ways, and it does all the usual stuff: hands-free photos, answering questions naturally, jotting down your meeting notes, all that kind of good stuff. So it's kind of like a cross between the AI pen and maybe a Plod Note, and it's considerably smaller, so it doesn't look like this big calculator that you've got pinned to your as a brooch to yourself, but
It's also a concept. Like,
It's
who
concept.
knows what it'll
It
look
is,
like
It's
if
a
you ever
concept,
put it out.
right.
So, yeah.
It looks cute, I guess, but for me, wearables in terms of AI wearables that you put around your neck, I just feel like it's not something that I would use necessarily.
So my theory is that it is concept because they probably started working on it before they knew how hard the AI pin was going to fail.
That might
So
be-
it's
might
like
be the case.
we already started making this. Let's
Keep it
let's
concept.
just it's
Keep it
smaller.
concept.
Let's just put it out and see what comes from it.
So
I thought it was interesting that Lenovo's AI glasses concept also has that teleprompter software that we heard about yesterday.
Yeah.
All of us podcasters are. There's going to be like this glasses thing that everybody has the
Everyone's
same look.
wearing glasses.
Yeah,
they
but
know
we're
the way
looking
to a
straight at the
content
cam.
creator's heart. Yeah.
Yeah, from a creator, those that's actually kind of cool because you're locked into a studio if you're using a teleprompter.
Oh, yeah.
But you can be out in the world wearing glasses and still sound professional while you're doing your
Right.
reads.
You'll know it's come around when you see some like a field reporter in CNN or something. With just everyone starts wearing glasses. Like
Yeah.
they all have glasses.
No.
Just like they all start wearing AirPods.
We got a sneak peek at a lot of what Lenovo announced yesterday, and then the rest of it was mostly Motorola that we're talking about. Shannon, you got your hands on some of this stuff.
I
What did
did,
you
yeah. So I got my hands on both of the new concept rollables from Lenovo, as well as several of their new laptops, and even the new Motorola Razr Fold. And it was really interesting, especially with the Motorola Razr Fold, to see how they are developing it, like what the aspect ratio is going to be, how big it is, how heavy it is. It is a little bit heavier than like the Fold 7, which is extremely thin. At this point, that's my favorite foldable phone. But I think that it's going to be a really good contender. And I did bring up with the Motorola team how excited I was to see a foldable from them, because they're really known for bringing us really nicely priced folding phones over the past couple of years. So I'm excited to see how much this one is going to be priced at. We don't know that exactly yet, but with their operating system and with the customizable abilities that you have with their foldables, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine if we were just to guess that it would be a little less than what Samsung is doing.
Yeah,
Motorola seems
that's
to
my
come in.
expectation.
They're premium, but they come in a little less than what the iPhone and what
Right.
Samsung is doing. So my gut tells me this might be a relatively affordable foldable
Yeah.
from what we are used to seeing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very excited about that one. The rollables from Lenovo, those concepts were so cool. I especially loved the Legion rollable, how it scales out to a different aspect ratio. I'm like a widescreen user all the time anyway, so I really hope that one actually comes into play.
Fantastic.
Well, everybody, DTNS is made possible by you, watching or listening right now or later. Thanks to Mike Akins, Norm Fazekas, and Chris Allen.
There is more we need to know today. Let's get to what finally returned to being something you might call briefs.
So last year, Dream, that's Dream with an E at the end, showed off a robot vacuum prototype with a mechanical arm, but it wasn't a real product yet. You didn't actually see it working as a full unit. Now it is. Dream unveiled the Cyber 10 Ultra. It's a robot vacuum mop hybrid with an extendable mechanical arm that can pick up objects weighing up to about a pound, including toys and household clutter. The arm can also use dedicated cleaning attachments from the base station to reach tight or elevated areas like a traditional vacuum would with a hose tool. It can climb small steps up to 6 centimeters, so they have to be pretty small. Dream is aiming for an August release, pricing expected around $2,100. This would be a pricey vacuum, but if it works, might be worth it. Another model, the X60 Max Ultra, $1,700, still pricey, but down a bit. It can roll over steps up to 8.8 centimeters. The company also showed off the prototype Cyber X with motorized treaded legs that can climb stairs up to 25 centimeters. That's about 9.8 inches tall. Handle slopes up to 42 degrees, can navigate curved staircases, if you've got a fancy staircase at home, and clear a whole flight in about 27 seconds. That's fast. The cleaning system docks inside the stair-climbing chassis. It also has a built-in water tank for mopping. Roborock, another company we were looking forward to seeing what they were about to announce, announced 3 new vacuums. We've got the Saros 20 Sonic. This is like the big guy, with an extendable sonic mopping pad that physically slides out to clean edges and corners, flush against baseboards, that sort of thing, something that would be hard to do otherwise. It delivers 35,000 pascals of suction, supports automatic height adjustments, and includes a deep carpet cleaning mode. It can cross thresholds up to about 3.3 inches with a new climbing arm, but it can't climb full stairs. We don't have a price on this yet. We also don't have a price on the Saros 20. This is one step down from the Sonic, but it shares the same 35,000 pascals of suction, brush system, threshold climbing hardware as the Sonic version, but it uses dual spinning mopping pads instead of the extendable Sonic mop. Now, I don't exactly know which one's better than the other. Apparently, the extendable Sonic mop is because it's more expensive, but your mileage may vary. Then we have a product that is going to be available very soon. That's the Quivo Curve 2 Flow. This is also from Roborock. It has 20,000 pascals of suction, a roller-style mop that spins at 220 RPM, and then self-rinses during cleaning. The roller extends outward to reach edges, furniture legs, and is designed to handle large liquid spills more efficiently. Parents out there, you heard me. Promotional prices start at on January 19th, so you can get it for $850. It's going to go up to $1,000 after February 1st. So if you want this, that's your window.
So we're getting more and more vacuum features in the world in which Roomba has declared bankruptcy. There are plenty to pick up the slack for them. I've heard a lot of people very skeptical about the arms being able to have enough, counterbalance to be able to do anything useful. But up to a pound, picking some stuff, getting out of the way, clearing up the kids' toys, like that's possible.
Can I pick up
right?
my cat?
Is your cat more than a pound?
The kitten is
So you
very
can pick
small.
up the kitten. Yeah.
It's
So
I mean, part of me is like, okay, I get it. Maybe your vacuum is on a schedule, or maybe you're already out of the house and you go, oh, I wanted to, start the vacuum, so you do it remotely through the app. But for the most part, how much stuff is all over the floor when you decide to vacuum your house?
A lot in my
lot.
house.
Really?
I mean, if you
Okay.
have kids, I'm stepping
Dogs.
on it.
I
I do
know.
have a lot. There's a lot of cat toys on my
I guess
floor.
I'm just so used to picking up everything before I start manually vacuuming.
I mean, I do that
now you don't
anyway,
have
but
to.
I pick up a lot of, my kids drop pencils, they drop sheets
Yeah,
of paper.
just little things
Yeah.
you don't even see.
They
Right.
have wrappers of like candy and stuff. They just leave it. It's like, I'm both kind of mildly interested in this product, but I also know I really need to drill in my kids' heads. You need to pick up your crap when you're done playing or you're
The
done
robot
eating.
has a pincher on them, Roger.
Oh, are you saying I could use that as sort of a motivator?
I'm not saying anything.
Oh, if you don't clean up, the pincher will come after you.
Yeah.
This is a non-CES story here. Amazon has been beta testing an agentic program called Buy For Me. Curious what y'all think of this. The promise on where Amazon is coming from here is that it shops for you on the site off Amazon. So in other words, it'll expand what you can buy. They want to keep you on the Amazon platform, but say, hey, if this company doesn't work with Amazon, we can still send our agent out to buy for you, just like OpenAI or Perplexity or anybody else could do it. Orders to the sites include an email address that's not you. They end in @buyforme.amazon. There's a similar program called Buy Direct that doesn't use the agentic capabilities. It just speeds up how you check out on a third-party site. Listings for the items are created by Amazon from the third-party company's website, but because they're not Amazon partners, they're just telling you what's there so the agent can go buy it. And Amazon does its best to keep the information updated and accurate. However, the listings look pretty similar to other items that are available through Amazon. And some merchants are not happy about that. They are getting orders for items that are out of stock. They are getting incorrect information in the listing. One example was a kid's toy that was listed on Amazon with a picture of a pair of pants. And the company doesn't even sell pants at all. There's also some merchants that are like, we don't want to be associated with Amazon's name. We don't want to be associated with that brand. You can ask Amazon not to list your site's items by emailing branddirect@amazon.com. Lots of merchants have done that, and it works. There's no problem. But a lot of merchants are like, why should I have to do that? Whereas Amazon's saying, hey, we're just helping people go buy things on your site. We're sending customers your way.
Yeah, I actually have a friend who sells like hacker tools. Not Hack5, but I have not Darren. I have a friend who has a Shopify store, and some of his items were linked through Amazon, and he had a very serious problem with that. He's one of those merchants who has a real big problem with having any kind of identification relevant to Amazon. And also, I don't think his products are supposed to be sold on Amazon. So it kind of goes against,
they're not
like,
technically being
they're
sold
not,
on
but
Amazon.
you can see them
It's
listed.
like a search engine.
It's
basically.
yeah,
It's kind of like a
acting like a
concierge
search engine.
service,
Yeah.
right?
But
Because
that's
they're-
the problem. Like, people think that it is on Amazon.
It's like a search engine, but it looks like Amazon.
Yeah.
I think that's the disconnect there.
It feels to me like Taco Bell and Demolition Man. All things Amazon wants to be. If you buy it from us.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I care for that. Sometimes I want to go to the vendor's website. I would get confused if I'm looking at Amazon and I see this thing that's on Amazon and it's not from Amazon. Why would I be saying
There's
something?
tons of things that are not from Amazon on Amazon right now.
But fulfilled by is a little different. This is like, we're going to use an agent to go out to someone's website, scrape that content there, and then give you the option to buy it through Amazon from that other site.
That's Google Shopping.
But like,
Just playing devil's
do
advocate.
you get credits if you use like your Amazon card for these sorts of purchases?
Yeah, but yes, you would. But you would if you went directly to their site yourself, right?
I think what's interesting is more
Yeah,
of what's
I guess.
implied with this move is that Amazon does feel threatened by the arrival of agentic agents that can do that for you, that they feel like, oh, this might seriously erode our market position, because before we were just sort of the one-stop shop for everything, right? Oh, you need a garden hose? Come to us. You need ready to eat, breakfast, sandwiches? Come to us. Like the power of these agents may not be.
I mean, you
here
say
100%.
threatened, I say smart. Like they're like, oh, we have this, we should do it too, right? That makes
Oh
perfect
yeah,
sense.
but I mean, like they definitely see themselves in a position where, like, we can't just sort of suppose like, oh, we're here and they're not, so we don't have to worry. I don't know. I think it's just it's very interesting, just to move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
doesn't feel like something that I would use, but I guess if you
might
spend a
not know.
lot of time shopping with an Amazon, you know how it looks, you know how it works, then maybe it's just a matter of convenience for a lot of people.
Yeah, that was the point, Tom. Do you know you're using it if you're using it?
Yeah.
And maybe that's where my consternation comes in, because I know if I'm using an agent that I have set up to go do this for me, but if I just go to Amazon and it just kind of does it.
If you're paying attention, you'll know. But if you're paying attention is doing a lot of work there. Yeah.
Well, speaking of paying attention, Roblox is globally expanding the age check for 9-year-old children. It began testing in November. So children need to submit a video selfie for age verification if they want to use the chat feature. You can also submit a government ID if you have one. Age verification will be used to limit communications between adults and minors who don't know each other in the real world. Each user will be put in one of 6 age groups, including younger than 9, older than 21, and then we've got 4 other groups in between.
I mean, Roblox says it's going to delete these video selfies, and I believe they will. But I don't know. I don't love the idea.
How secure are they while they are on Roblox's servers?
And
we don't know.
I mean, this is the trade-off when you want to do all this age verification. You've got to give information of some sort in order to verify an age.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of 9-year-olds sending videos to a game that they want to play, because they're going to send videos, and the parents aren't going to, in some cases, even be aware that they're doing it.
Yeah.
To block that. So I don't mind that you can't do this if you're not over a certain age, but allowing them to. I don't know that this is even easy. I would feel more comfortable is like if you're under a certain age, you have got to get your parents to do the verification, for you.
Well, and in a lot of cases, that's the case. That
Right.
is true, but it's above 9 that it's not. Yeah.
So. Yeah.
I mean, my wife had to do this. Something similar where she
She had to verify her
verify
Roblox.
for my kids.
Oh, for your kids.
And it's Roblox is one of those platforms that at least the kids in my age, or the age bracket that my kids are in, 9 through
it's
7
very
through 10.
popular for those kids.
It's
yeah.
very popular, and it is sort of like kind of the mall situation it was for us. Like that's where you go.
That's where everybody
when
hangs
you
out.
aren't at school or you're on vacation. That's where you meet your friends.
Yeah. Intel has another chip platform it didn't tell you about at CES. Intel Vice President and General Manager of PC Products Daniel Rogers did announce Monday that it will have a portable gaming platform on the way using newly announced Panther Lake series of chips. But IGN and TechCrunch's sources are saying there will be a Panther Lake chip made specifically for that platform. IGN says that Intel can cut different die slices and, quote, spec the chips to offer better performance on the GPU where you want it. So some customization to make these work perfectly or tailor them to the individual system. That would be certainly attractive to folks making these systems. Most of those systems are using AMD chips these days. AMD just announced the AMD Ryzen 9 9850X 3D for gaming PCs. Intel did not announce a SKU for this. Rogers did tell TechCrunch more details about handheld gaming devices from Intel will come later this year. So we are going to hear about this. Intel's not trying to deny it. They just haven't given us the details on the chips yet.
That's kind of cool. I'm really into like portable gaming.
Yeah.
So if we're getting more chipsets and more competition, I'm down with that.
I mean, it's crazy. There are companies looking or planning to use AMD's Strix Halo series of high performance APU chips that were meant for laptops or mini workstations, and they want to put them into a handheld. For gaming, which really tells you they definitely see that there's an appetite for this. Where I mean, these aren't going to be cheap. I mean, those chips you're going to set you back at least $600 to $800.
Yeah.
And that's before you add the rest of the device. So I mean, you're looking at $2,000.
You won't have any
So-
RAM because you won't have any money left for it.
Yeah, I mean, but like if you're fine with keeping yourself plugged into the wall for most of your gaming experience, definitely a market for it.
And it's still good just from an overall Intel standpoint, because a lot of news that we've heard about Intel lately is not the greatest. The fact that they are still putting pokers near the fire to see what gets hot is an impressive thing that
They need
they're
to do
still
that.
doing.
They
Yeah.
absolutely
They
do.
are actively working to figure it out.
And it's a testament to the fact that they moved over from a monolithic chip design to a chiplet design, which allows them the flexibility
Yeah.
to do this, something they
That
couldn't
is a
have
very
done
good
before.
point. Yeah.
And if this really does work out, I mean, the 18A process, Intel would be back in a pole position that they've lost in recent years.
Most of us are still on Wi-Fi 6 devices, but Wi-Fi 8 is already showing up on CES in routers and chips, and there isn't even a certified standard yet. Wi-Fi 8 improves reliability and power efficiency, where Wi-Fi 7 improves speed. Among the Wi-Fi 8 products were a chip from Broadcom and a router from ASUS, and we're likely to see products before the end of the year, which is still before the standard is certified.
Yeah,
So-
I don't think the roadmap calls for it until 2028. but
I was going to say, it's ways out there still.
this is like the old 802.11n routers that we got like 3 years before the standard, the pre-n routers. So
I mean, power efficiency, I'm down with that. Reliability, what does that mean?
that actually means like your range. You're not going to get interrupted by interference. You're going to be able to have more devices on the connection.
Got it. Okay.
You're not
Especially with
gonna
like
get
Wi-Fi
weird-
5, you put more than a dozen devices on that at the same time, and you start to lose performance. So it's that kind of connective reliability. So you're not like, hey, why is the Wi-Fi acting funny, kind of thing.
So since we're still years away from an actual Wi-Fi 8 standard, are we going to start hearing from others that's going, okay, well, this is Wi-Fi 8 Max and Wi-Fi 8 Max Ultra Premium? Is it a marketing ploy at this point for
Honestly,
these companies?
IEEE has been pretty good at avoiding that kind of thing. So I don't expect that to happen in this case, even though in every other case I would expect it to happen.
And they might say something like Wi-Fi 8 ready.
Yes. Yeah. You'll get stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because they won't be able to call it Wi-Fi 8 until it's actually certified as a standard.
Google says it will reduce its release of the Android source code, aka Android Open Source Project, aka AOSP, twice a year now. So it used to be released 4 times a year with every quarterly release, now just twice. Google says this will simplify development, eliminate managing multiple code branches, and deliver more stable and secure code to developers. The company also says it'll keep publishing security patches every month on a dedicated security-only branch for relevant OS releases.
Do we buy it? Do we buy that that's why? That they needed to do that?
It just sounds like.
I mean, what would be the
The counter
nefarious
argument
version?
is that with so many other people using Android, with China becoming more popular and having their own variants, that Google wants to maintain control over this and not let the open source version somehow become more popular than their controlled Google Play Services version, especially with them losing court cases that allow them to tie that in the contracts.
That's a good point. I mean, I am glad that they're going to continue to publish those security patches every month like they have been. So luckily that's not affected in this sense. But yeah, you have a point there.
Well, that's not my point. That's just what I hear
Yeah.
people saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's also good reasons to reduce it that they gave, which is like, yeah, this makes it less complex. Developers have more time to adapt and all of that. So
It might not
It
be
could be
all the
both, too.
reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be both.
that glass is half full and half empty. A lot of folks have been convinced that Microsoft renamed Office to Microsoft 365 Copilot. Have any of you seen
I have
people
heard
talk about
that.
this?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
It has not. It has not done that. But it's understandable why people are confused. Let me confuse you more by explaining. The product page for Microsoft 365 Copilot says the following. The Microsoft 365 Copilot app, formerly Office, lets you create, share, collaborate, et cetera, et cetera. So people latched onto that. Oh, formerly Office. They've changed Office to be Microsoft 365 Copilot app. But that phrase refers, even though it says app, to the website where you get the free web apps of all Microsoft's core programs. So Word, Excel, PowerPoint. And that site has not been called Office since 2022. In 2022, they renamed it Microsoft 365. So they're just adding Copilot to that name. Microsoft added Copilot to Microsoft 365 in 2024 and rebranded it Microsoft 365 Copilot, but it didn't change all the other instances of it. There's also, just to confuse you further, a separate product called Microsoft 365 Copilot that comes with Microsoft 365. And then, of course, there is Office. Office is the standalone version of the suite that isn't online, that you can buy without a subscription. That one's name is not changing. So we're clear.
Okay, we're clear. We
Totally,
got this.
Crystal.
None of that is confusing unless you think
No,
about it.
not at all.
The short version is they didn't change anything regarding Office, but they do abuse the name Microsoft 365 Copilot to mean a lot of different things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I know. It's a thinker.
Office just feels so much cleaner, but
Yeah.
okay.
We're old school like that.
Netflix has its 2026 slate, pretty packed TV lineup, along with a film schedule. On the series side, we've got franchises including Outer Banks, The Gentleman, Bridgerton, The Witcher, final season, Lupin, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Three Body Problem, One Piece, and Beef, alongside some new projects from the Duffer Brothers, including The Burrows, and an animated Stranger Things spinoff. People will be excited about that, with some period dramas, animation, unscripted shows, live events, and sports. On the film side, Netflix set dates for titles like War Machine, that's March 6th, Joe's College Road Trip, February 13th, Remarkably Bright Creatures, May 8th, unveiled first looks at Enola Holmes 3, and teased some high-profile releases, including Greta Gerwig's Narnia, Ben Affleck's Animals, The Whisper Man, and Here Comes the Flood, and multiple Tyler Perry projects.
I thought this was interesting, not so much because it's tech news and that it's streaming TV, but they announced it during CES, and Netflix is here. They're
here.
part of CES. So even though this was an online announcement, I feel like this is something they're pointing to when they're doing their meetings and doing their presentations of like, hey, have you seen our new lineup? We just announced it today.
Well, and for people who are on the fence about getting new home theater stuff, it ties in nicely because you're like, look at all the stuff Netflix is about to give me this year. Maybe I should upgrade that TV.
I mean, this week is all about TV, so it's a good time.
Yeah. TVs, but also like making sure people you already have commitments with are still on it. It's like, hey, we haven't forgot you. We still have stuff that people want to see. You want to make sure your remote still has our name on the button.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
That's actually a really good point.
All right, so much to talk about at CES. Let's give you a few more highlights of interesting things we saw here at the show. Sarah, start with an old favorite.
Oh, an old favorite. Segway. The I don't know. I don't even know. The tourist
Steve Wozniak's favorite thing.
The tourist fun. I don't know. I don't even know what you call the Segway anymore. Do tourists still use Segways? They probably do when they're on tours in a different city. Companies still out there making stuff. Launched 2 new e-bikes, a dirt bike, and a robot lawnmower. The Mayon has a rack for carrying luggage, electronic gear shifting, electronic motor optimization, and Segway's proprietary intelligent ride system. It can do stuff like ramp up power as you go uphill. There's also integrated Apple Find My, GPS tracking, and a few other smart features to integrate with health and fitness apps. The other e-bike, the Mushi bike, is a cargo bike with an optional passenger seat. Also has foot pegs and a beverage holder. The dirt bike is called the Sabre. It has 3 power modes equivalent to a 15, 200, or 300 cc engine. Segway also introduced the Nanimo X4 and i2 series of robot lawn care. The X4 is the big guy for large yards. The i2 is for everyday lawn maintenance. Both will be available for pre-order starting at January 16th.
Yeah. They're part of a wide category, and probably not the top of either one of these categories, e-bikes and robotic lawnmowers. I mean, just yesterday at Showstoppers, we saw Yarbo and Limo, and I can't even think of the dozens of others that we saw at Digital Experience at CES unveiled. There's a lot of this stuff going on.
There's a ton of them, and they all look similar, and they all cut grass and edge and stuff like that. So.
I know. A couple of years ago, it was like, ooh, robots that can like automatically cut my grass. Now we're like, oh,
There's so many
there's
of
another
them.
one. It's a little better. It's a little more precise, a little more range.
If you can also trim the hedges, I'd be stoked.
Yeah, there's a couple hedge. There are a couple hedge trimmer attachments. Yeah.
Robotic arms.
Yeah.
I mean, if you compare them to something like the Robo Vacuum indoors, where it's like, a little cluster of dirt in the corner is going to bother somebody. A lawn is a different situation. I mean, yeah, you want it to look nice and pristine, but the rules are a bit different for, what they should do and how they differentiate from each other.
I even saw one of these that this is not available yet, but it basically the lawnmower will pull a little trailer behind it. It has a robotic arm, so if it comes across a rock, anything up to like 3 pounds, it can pick it up and put it into the trailer and pull it behind it so it can cut without having to go around it.
Oh, that's nice.
So it almost reminded me of a big track almost.
When you've
That's
got the
really
weight
cool.
of a lawnmower,
Right.
which is heavier than a vacuum cleaner, right?
Right.
You've got enough counterweight that you can pick up heavier stuff like that.
Exactly.
France's Wheel Move is showing a compact motorized wheelchair add-on that can make any manual wheelchair an electric wheelchair. We have this up on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Daily Tech News Show if you want to take a look at it. It's basically a 10-inch extra wheel and a 250-watt motor that can drive up to 6 miles per hour. That's 10 kilometers per hour. Handle slopes up to 10%, and the range is 25 kilometers, about 15 miles. Battery is swappable, too, so you can bring an extra one with you and get extra range. You install a frame on the wheelchair's front, just kind of like snap-on stuff, and then the wheel is added really quickly to that frame. You can pull it on, pull it off. He did it in front of me multiple times without a problem. There's a small wired control panel that can be strapped to the armrest or to your body if you need to. The entire thing weighs less than 8 kilograms, about 17.6 pounds. Packs up in a backpack. And pre-orders are open in France, shipping later this year. It is covered by most insurance there, but it will sell for about $6,000 without subsidization. And this may be my favorite thing I saw here.
I wouldn't be shocked if this will be something that people can rent. Like if they're going to an amusement park or something like that, they can just rent this, attach it to attach it to their chair, and use it for the day, and then turn it back in. As compared to having to get a
great
whole
idea.
Yeah, so it seems very rentable.
I really appreciate that. It seems like a lot of companies this year are focusing on like mobility and helping people and trying to find ways to help folks that, aren't considerably able. And it's really cool to see that.
It's what I like most about this is it's not like here's another wheelchair. This is like, hey, this is an accessory. You're not necessarily having to, and especially things
$6,000 sounds like a lot if you're not shopping for electric wheelchairs, which are much more expensive.
And if you already have a wheelchair that you love,
and they're, I don't know if you've ever seen or used an electric wheelchair, but they're heavy. Like you need a special minivan to put it in, like when you're moving or when you're driving around. I saw the video. I edited this video. Like he took and he picked it up with one arm. To attach it, and that I think would be enormous for people because it just allows you a incredible amount of flexibility.
Rob, I think you're onto something with the rentability of this. It's sort of like I'm like I can run a couple miles, but I can't run a marathon today. So something that could help you out beyond maybe your general routine would be really smart.
Yeah, as Roger was saying, chairs are ridiculously heavy, so you've got to make special arrangements to travel with them. This seems like I'm going to visit family. My chair around the house is fine, or just getting where we need to go. But if we're going to go to an amusement park, don't make me have to rent an entire chair. I've got my chair. Give me an accessory to let me use my chair that I'm comfortable in. And I think you will see this very, very rentable. Just like when you go to amusement parks now, you can rent the Rascals and the stuff like that. I think you're going to be able to actually rent this for folks who want to stay in their chair.
The Corsair Galleon 100 SD Edition keyboard features integrated Stream Deck hardware, a 5-inch 720 by 1280 LCD color screen that integrates with common apps for managing peripherals, and it also includes dual rotary dials, a sizable widget display area, and 12 LCD screen keys. If you're a keyboard enthusiast, and I know many of you are, it has an 8,000 hertz polling rate, per key customizable RGB lighting, and also a mood bar. The keys incorporate MLX hi-fi switches and PBT DS keycaps with a gasket mount.
Yeah, this keyboard dream. This is a nice looking keyboard.
This thing is legit.
Yeah.
I mean, what this to me signals is that slow melding between like a video switcher interface, which is if you've ever seen them. If you've seen Star Wars, you've seen one indirectly.
Go to the overhead shot, you'll see one over there.
But I mean, that's it's just if it's a few more before you have like a little just a video switcher / keyboard. And that would be super awesome because
I just got a keyboard probably not a year ago, but the space bar is getting kind of shiny where my thumb is. So I got to get rid of that. I just need one of these, just got to get a whole thing here.
That's not okay.
So IAI, or I should say IAI Smart's Emerson Smart line of products lets you use voice control on its fans, heaters, smart plugs, and air fryers without needing any connection. No Wi-Fi, no app, no matter. There is a built-in mic and speaker in each device and onboard models to process your request.
Love this take. I want to see more of this, where it's like, hey, you just need it to turn on and off.
Yep.
You know, with a few other things, volume up, volume down.
Yeah.
We can do that on device now. Why use Wi-Fi for that?
It's one of those things where sometimes you don't need your devices to be too smart, just smart enough.
Yeah. All right, and finally, real quick, Mobileye is acquiring Israel's Menti Robotics, which is developing humanoid robotics for household use. Big trend we've seen here. Obviously, LG and SwitchBot and a lot of other folks showing this off. So Mobileye getting into that business as well. One last time, if you're watching live, if you're watching this recorded, you may have missed it. But if any of you are in Las Vegas, we're doing a meetup tonight, Wednesday, January 7th, 6:30 p.m. at the Resorts World Food Court. We're going to have some stickers to give away, and we'll just sit around and talk. Plenty of places for you to go and buy something to eat if you want, buy a drink, whatever. But we'll just be meeting up in that food court. Pretty casual, so no reservation or anything needed. 6:30 p.m. Wednesday, January 7th. Come say hello. Are you going
to be wearing like a special sweater, Tom, so people can find you in the crowd?
I could wear my Daily Tech News Show polo shirt.
That would work.
Yeah, and my DTNS
There
hat.
you go.
Yeah.
You know, I
Or I
didn't
could
know
just
about
stand
this
next to
party,
Robb,
but
because
maybe
then
I'll show
everyone will
up.
find me, because he's like 12 feet tall and has a wonderful hat that's way cooler than mine. So. All right, let's get to Shannon Morse's favorite things at CES. I know it's only day 2, but of
I
course we
know.
kind of wind down and be like, okay, we've seen all the press releases, we've seen all the stuff. Take us through the top 5 things you've seen at CES.
You know, I think the hardest thing is like remembering what my top 5 is, because it's so hard to remember everything that you've seen in the course of like 4 days of running around between meetings and recording things. But I tried my hardest, so I'll have to go through my specs on my phone because I don't remember all these specs. But the first one that I saw is probably my favorite, and this one was just a sweet meaning. It was for this device called the Punkt. It's not Punkt, it's Punkt.
Punkt?
Yes, Punkt. MC03. It's a smartphone which is developed by a Swiss company in collaboration with Apostrophe OS, which is a very privacy-focused operating system. So Punkt has a couple of smartphones on the market already. They're very, very security conscious, and security and privacy is like their go-to model with this device. But that doesn't mean that they are like skipping or just scraping by with the hardware. They're actually giving some really good hardware in here. You get like a 64 megapixel phone, if my memory serves right. You get a series or camera. You get a series of cameras on the back, and you also get a really, really nice high-end display on the front, very bright to look at. And the phone itself is really durable, and you can actually remove the battery, which is incredible.
That's great.
And
Yeah,
they
people
include a
love that.
3.5 millimeter headphone jack.
So they're playing to the niche crowd.
They are
They're like,
so
you all
playing
keep
to the
complaining
niche
about
crowd.
this stuff. Let's just make it for you.
I was so impressed. They have collaborations with Threema, which is a security-conscious app, end-to-end encrypted messaging. They are also working with Proton. So a lot of the applications for Proton you can find on this phone. And if you are still obsessed with like social media, they have a sandboxed area where you can still install Google Play Store apps separately from everything else that you do on the phone. It's a really, really cool experience.
I like
Very
that.
different from what we have with iOS and Android. So I was totally impressed. I was like, can I please review one of these? I have to get my hands on one of these. I feel like my audience would love it.
Yeah.
I think they're going to price it at around $6.99. That might be euros, so the USD price might be a little bit different than that, but $6.99 is.
And they are going to bring one to the U.S.? Or?
That's what they told me.
Okay.
So hopefully we're able to ship one over here.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
right now I think they're doing reservations for the European market.
There's been a lot of this kind of thing made where people
Yeah.
are trying to make repairable phones or trying to make secured by design
Yeah.
phones. Like, you've seen all of these. Where does this sit in your estimation of how good those are?
I think this one is one of the best contenders that
Yeah.
I have seen. I have seen a lot of products that are associated with like, this is an Android phone, but still it's a private privacy conscious app, but it's still running on Android instead of like graphene or apostrophe. So
Right.
you do have those kind of issues when you look at those kind of applications. I've also seen a lot of applications and hardware coming out at CES that are focused on, oh, but we're using AI, but all of your data is stored locally, which is good, but it's
Right.
still using AI. So how comfortable are you with that?
Sure.
How are you comfortable with the LLM that's running on this device itself?
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that they give you the option to have that Google Play Store in there too, because
Yeah,
I
me
understand
too.
like that can be a deal killer for reasons beyond your control sometimes.
Right,
So,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
Very cool.
So I also got to see, and this is like complete other side of the spectrum, Project Ava from Razer. I was able to play with this in person. So this is a little AI desk companion. It's a little miniature anime-like or video gaming character-like companion in a little 3D holographic display. They do this by mirroring the display inside of a little sphere, and you can choose a couple of different characters at the get-go. However, they're planning to include several other characters by the time it comes to market. You can currently reserve this for $20. When I asked if there was going to be a specific price point that they could tell me, they said, well, you could reserve it for $20, so it's probably a lot cheaper than what you can expect. And I was like, okay, cool, that's nice to hear. So with this AI desk companion, you can ask it for the weather. You can ask it for tips when you're playing your video games. You can ask it about how you should mod your gun for your FPS game. And it actually is able to translate and talk to you really quickly and have a conversation in different languages. So when I was demoing it, a guy that was with me was French, so he started talking to it just out of the blue in French, and it immediately understood him and was able to change the dialect and change the translation so that he understood everything, and it was talking back to him in French. So then I walked up and I started talking in Japanese, and it understood me immediately, and it switched to Japanese. So it was really cool, and it was very quick to understand. So you don't necessarily have to say like switch to English,
Right.
switch
Just
back to
contextually
Japanese.
could
It was
tell. That's
contextual.
cool.
Yeah, it was very smart and very quick. So I was pretty impressed with it. Yes, it is AI. It is AI companion desk character, but they did say that it is doing everything, all the processing locally.
Did you ask them if you can put yourself in it?
As far as I know, no.
Or
They
your
do.
friends and family?
They have a couple of artists that are working on the different characters and developing
Yeah,
those.
it has to be one of their
Do you,
characters.
so when you plug it in, it's just power and Wi-Fi, and that's all it needs, or do you need to?
Yeah, and it also does use GPU processing from your computer. So you do
okay,
have
for rendering,
Yeah,
it's
you
doing
have to
that.
have a
Okay.
pretty good computer
Gotcha.
to run this thing off of.
That's good to know.
So you
Yeah.
need to plug it into your PC as well.
You do. Yeah, it's via. I want to say it's USB-C. So next, I have a pet feeder, which does not sound very exciting at all.
So many pet feeders at CES.
I know so
What makes
many
this one
pet
stand out to
feeders.
you? Shay?
So this is called the Cheerable. It's the Cheerable Pet Feeder Match G1. And the reason I really like this one, even though it looks conceptually like a lot of the other pet feeders we see, usually they use the chip that is, found inside of your pet's, like the back of their neck, to open up a lid and allow them to eat, especially if you have a multi-cat or a multi-dog household.
And by the way, if people don't have pets and don't understand what Shannon means, they're not robots. There's like an RFID chip you can use to
Yes,
identify
RFID.
your pet.
If your
Yeah.
pet gets lost or something.
Yes, exactly.
They're like little tiny microchips.
Very important information. So I was like, oh, this thing looks exactly like other ones that I have seen that use those RFID chips in your cat's neck.
Yeah.
So in this case, your cat walks up, it senses your cat in front of it using a little camera, and it opens up the lid when it identifies your cat.
Is it facial recognition?
It uses facial recognition
okay.
of your cat's face. So even if you have two cats that are like the same color, or maybe they have very, very similar features, it can identify differences in their faces.
You can keep one of them out and let the other one
So
through.
it'll kick one of them out, or it'll block them from eating. So technically, like, I would recommend if somebody had two of these in their household, like two cats, then you would get two of these different pet feeders. So each one had a very specific feeder to eat out of. So it's privacy conscious, which is what really, really, made me happy to hear about it. So they say that even though it's using AI to identify your cat, it's not sending any of that data up to the cloud. There is no microphone installed in it.
Okay.
Usually the camera is off. The only time it comes on is when it senses something that comes within a few millimeters of the camera itself, and then it'll turn on and identify the cat in front of the pet feeder. And also they have a little privacy light on it that turns on or turns off depending on whether or not the camera is on. So they have a lot of features that are going into it that I found to be really interesting and very privacy conscious.
Privacy for you and the cat, I suppose.
exactly.
But more for you, yeah.
Although the poor cat, I mean, while they're eating, the camera's going to be on, so
Yeah,
might be a
they could be
little
collecting all
invasive.
kinds of important data to market to that cat. Like, oh, he really likes that food. All right, you got your hands on the Samsung TriFold.
I
It's not
did.
like it's new because they announced it in Korea earlier, but it's the
Yes.
first time a lot of people here have been able to pick it up. What
It's
do you
been
think?
very exciting. I was more impressed than I thought I would be. I thought it was going to be an extremely bulky device. I thought it was going to be very heavy, and I was a little worried that it would feel extremely fragile. But when I opened it, it felt very similar to the Fold 7 in terms of sizing. It also has very similar specs in terms of the cameras on the back of it, like a 200 megapixel camera is installed in the back of it. And it supports full desktop DeX from Samsung, which I am so stoked about because I use DeX all the time, and you don't have to like connect this to an external monitor. You can just use desktop DeX on this teeny tiny phone when you fold it out into a tablet. So you have the best of both worlds in your pocket now. I find
that's
that
great, yeah.
it's fascinating, and I think that part is really important. A lot of people are missing that because they were like, oh, a foldable, like, yeah, okay, cool. Yay, it's a trifold. What's the big deal? But this is the big deal. The big deal is that you can use it like a desktop now, and that's not something that we've had necessarily in foldables or regular smartphones yet. So really interesting. I also felt like even though it's a little bit thicker than like a S25 Ultra, not by much. So it's a pretty good size, and
Yeah.
it's built really well. So I was very impressed with it.
So if I understand correctly, it's actually thinner than the Fold 5, which
Yes,
is just a
it is.
2-year-old phone.
Yep.
So it's
Isn't
actually
that crazy?
considerably thinner than that. So
They went as thin as they could. So when you look at the USB port on the bottom, there's maybe a paper like edge to it in between the USB port and the outer part of the frame. So it's very, very thin. They went as thin as they could without taking out that USB-C port. It was cool.
All right, that's 4. What's number 5?
The last one is from Asus, and it's kind of a series of products from a collaboration that they're doing. It's some people say Asus, I say Asus because it came from historically Pegasus. That's where they got the name. So I say Asus because that's what the PR people told me to say.
That's why I
So,
do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So ROG, Republic of Gamers, they are doing a collaboration with Kojima Productions. If you're familiar with Death Stranding, then you know Kojima Productions and Hideo Kojima. I'm a big fan of their products. I'm a big fan of the artists, big fan of the video game. So I saw this collaboration and I was like, this is so cool. So the main thing that they're building here with the artist is the ROG Flow K13 or Z13 KJP. So it's the Kojima Productions version of the Z13 laptop. So in the laptop, you're getting very similar specs to the regular Flow Z13. They just built it in a completely different chassis. So you have all the aesthetics and all the fluid ideas and the artistry going into this laptop as compared to Death Stranding. So it literally looks like you could carry this around in the video game.
Oh, that's cool.
It's so cool. It's beautiful. If you're a fan of Death Stranding, if you're a fan of collaborations with video games, like this was a very, very interesting device to see in person.
Very cool. All right. So that's always good at this point in the show to kind of look back at like, okay, what's really standing out? Because
Yeah.
there's such an avalanche of stuff. I figure we should go around the horn as well. Rob, anything stand out to you?
So yeah, last night actually the Showstoppers party, one of the booths, it had a ton of people around it. I'm like, okay, what's that? Let's go over there and figure out what that is. And as I get there, there's a guy that I kind of know. His name is Kevin Mishlik, Crackberry Kevin. So I'm like, oh, he's talking about the clicks. So the clicks, for those who don't know, it's basically a device that looks an awful lot like a BlackBerry Bold. In fact, the designer is the same designer that designed the BlackBerry Bold from Research in Motion. I will not call them BlackBerry. Research in
Didn't
Motion.
Jason mention this in the pre when we were last Friday? I think he threw clicks out, so you got to actually see the real.
So
thing.
I actually got to see the real thing, and it is. And I'm talking to someone now. For folks who don't know, I used to run a BlackBerry enthusiast site back in the day. So Kevin and I, we were always going back and forth on see who could get the best story. And he is saying that this is the best feeling phone that he has ever held. And he's comparing it to a BlackBerry Bold, which I thought was probably the best phone that you could hold in your hand. And it's just got the keyboard, the screen, the weight, and everything's right. And the company Clicks, they don't just make this. In fact, this device is not even available yet. It's going to come out sometime this year. But it looked great. It looks like an Android-powered BlackBerry Bold that has just been modernized to 2026. It is a really cool looking device. Clicks has other devices. They create cases that have the keyboard at the bottom, but this is the actual phone that they've built. That's going to be coming out, and they say that they've got 3-4 years of just metrics going into it to help them determine. So for me, being a BlackBerry guy still, that was the coolest thing I've seen so far.
Yeah.
When I saw the Clicks communicator, I immediately thought of the Palm Centro, which was my first smartphone way back in the day, back when Palm was a thing. And it's so beautiful, and it's very lightweight, really interesting. And they have a bunch of different cases that you can put on the back to kind of customize it with your favorite colors. I appreciate that because they're also coming out with a purple one. So thank you, Clicks.
I think the wheel move that we talked about earlier is one of my favorite things, but I want to give a shout out to something that actually wasn't on display at CES this year, but the founder of the company was on a panel on accessibility that I was at. Xander captioning glasses, Xander. What's very cool about these is they're not connected to the internet at all. It is an on-device model. I think it's using LLMs, but they originally developed it with just natural language processing. So it may just be simple natural language processing still, but what it does is allows you to see captions of whoever is talking to you. Projected like kind of right next to them, so you can maintain eye contact and just read whatever they're saying if you can't properly hear it.
Will it say captions in your local language, like if they're speaking a different language?
There's a limited support of languages, but it's pretty wide. So whatever language it's hearing, it'll do.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And it's not trying to do anything else. Again, it's like we don't need to connect to the internet. We don't need to connect to Wi-Fi. There doesn't need to be a privacy problem because all you need to do is transcribe.
Yep.
And these models are good enough to run in the chip that we can put in these glasses, and they look like normal glasses. They're not.
That's so cool.
They're not like weird looking glasses. They have a little bit of a thing inside, so maybe you might notice something, but someone looking at you won't notice anything at all.
Wow.
And all they need is a microphone. They don't need a camera.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
All right, Sarah, you've got the 30,000-foot view of CES from HQ over there. Anything in particular catch your eye?
Televisions. So it's totally
Can't
different
miss 'em.
covering this stuff from afar. I'm not that far away from Vegas, but I'm not there. So none of the stuff I've been able to see in person. But when it comes to especially the TV category, oftentimes it's something that we have seen before. It's just gotten this much better, or this many more nits of brightness type thing. But I gotta say that OLED Evo W6 wallpaper TV from LG, I don't need it, but I want it. It's just if money was no object, that would be the thing that I would add to my living room that could not even support something like this. That would just be ridiculous. But a girl can dream. Besides televisions, I gotta say the robo vacuums. Some of them, I'm impressed by them, and I also think a lot of them have, because they're all trying to outdo each other. There's several companies, in the mix here, and some of the features are going to be silly. And when I say silly, meaning you're going to get something that's pretty expensive, you're going to put it in your house and be like, you know what, this actually doesn't work the way I was hoping that it would work. I think that there's a lot of differentiation that companies are trying to, outdo each other with. Robots going up and down stairs, though, That's always been a limitation for anybody I know who's got a robot vacuum and has a set of stairs. You either need multiple ones, or you need to manually, bring it up and down and make sure that it doesn't fall down the stairs, and there are boundaries and that sort of thing. So that's a fun category for me, especially the whole sense of robot vacuums are now, not all of them. I mean, there are many different robot vacuums that you can buy on the market now, but the wet and dry option, I have heard from folks who already have models like this in the past that they don't work that well. It ends up you have a carpet that's kind of damp, for the rest of the day because it didn't really do its job the way it was supposed to. If there was a little spill or something on the carpet. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this type of home automation, because we all have to keep our homes clean. It's just, I guess you don't have to, but we should. We should keep our homes clean. And anything that can help with the tasks that we like doing the very least, I'm down for.
Fantastic. All right, before we get out of here, though, our producer Amos actually has been seeing as many, if not more, products than the rest of us wandering around these show floors. And Amos, you have one that you wanted to call out as well, right?
Yeah, a company called Coro has come out with a breastfeeding monitor that actually, in real time, monitors the amount of milk that is being given to the baby or being expressed. And it can be monitored. One of the things when you're breastfeeding is you don't know how much the baby's actually getting, how much nutrition the baby's getting. So they've developed a product that will actually monitor how much milk is being expressed at a time in real time, so it can be tracked, and it can be tracked over if the baby's taking it or if you're storing it for later. And it's a single device, and because breast milk is sanitized automatically just by nature, you can continue to use it for every feeding for up to 6 months, or one feeding a day for 3 years before you have to replace it.
Wow.
And it's rechargeable. It's got a nice little case to it and everything else. And it's coming out next month in the UK. It's scheduled to come out in the US in September.
Yeah.
And as a father of many daughters, this was one of the things that really struck me, that anytime you can mix tech and women's health, I'm in. And this was one of the things this just makes sense. This is why haven't we had this all this time?
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
Very good. Very good. All right. We do have one more day of CES yet to come, and we promise we'll try to get to your emails on that show tomorrow.
So,
It's
folks,
just too much to talk about.
there is so much stuff that is going on here. So we want to know what you are interested in. What are you thinking about? So if you've got some insights into a story, please share it with us at Daily Tech News Show. I should say at feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com.
Shannon, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you for
Remind
having me.
folks again where they can find your content directly.
Yeah, before I lose my voice, you can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/Shannon Morse. I'm posting shorts throughout the week, and I will also have a long form video where I'm really focusing and I'm trying my hardest to find those products that are security and privacy conscious.
Fantastic. Thanks to everyone for contributing to today's show. Amos and Kevin for setting up the gear. Amos for switching. Thanks to the CTA for accommodating us. Look at this setup that Amos and Kevin created here. If you're watching the video, they squeezed so much into this little corner that we've got here. It's amazing. Big thanks to the CTA for giving us this space to do this in. And thank you for being along for Daily Tech News Show. The only reason we can be here is because you keep us in business. Become a patron if you haven't already. Patreon.com/DTNS. We'll see you later. Bye.
The DTNS family of podcasts, helping each other understand.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.